Good evening and welcome to Primetime News on Mitv. I'm Victor Daniels. In the news, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is in Abu Dhabi, the United Arab Emirates, to attend the 2026 Abu Dhabi Sustainability Week Summit. The Nigeria president was received by Sheikh Shabud Nayan Al Nayan, the UAE Minister of State in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, after arriving in Sheikh Zayed International Airport. The ADSW 2026 Summit, themed The Nexus of Next, Supercharging Sustainable Progress, runs from January the 12th to 18th and gathers global leaders to discuss sustainable development, energy transition, and economic progress. Meanwhile, President Tinubu plans to deliver a speech on Nigerians' reform in energy efficiency, transportation, public health, and economic development, while engaging in bilateral talks to boost the UAE-Nigerian ties. The federal government, in collaboration with the Save the Children International, has released the second report on Nigerian children alongside a new national policy on alternative care for children. At the launch in Abuja, the Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs, Dr. Mayam Keshinro, explained that the report highlights the ministry's achievement and ongoing efforts to improve the lives of Nigerian children. She noted that the initiative recognizes the unique potential of young children and the important roles that they play in the society. And also speaking, the country director of Save the Children International, Duncan Harvey, noted that the partnership aims to promote the well-being of the girl child and advance the children's rights across the country. Harvey called for more investment in children, describing them as the nation's future leaders, and urged collective efforts to create an enabling environment where every child can thrive and reach their full potential.
Our second report on the Nigerian children today, so it's a big event for us also, and we're launching our alternative care, national policy on alternative care, whereby children can be placed in homes instead of institutionalized when they are facing challenges. So it's a very special day for us and for the Nigerian children. Mandates, of course, you cannot be saying as a ministry that you're giving protection, you're taking care of children, making sure they're in safe spaces and ensuring that they're not bullied at school without taking record of what you are doing. So it's a report of what we have done so far and where Nigeria is at the moment, and we can use it to further, bring in new policies to even make the general space better for the Nigerian child.
Report that Save the Children has developed, again together with the Ministry of Women's Affairs, looking into the state of the nation's girls. So State of Nigeria Girls Report. This is a second report following on from a similar report that we produced a few years ago. And we're looking particularly at rates of child marriage, and we're great celebration today to show the progress that's been made in reducing rates of child marriage across the country from what was 44% several years ago to lower levels today. So that's great to see the progress that's been made.
I think what the government should do is make sure that there is security, top-notch security in schools. Make sure that each school is protected, because anybody can just come in claiming to be one person or another. So there should be government officials, designated government officials or security agencies in schools to safeguard the environment where children learn. Because once a classroom starts leaking bullets, the system of education has crashed. And in this time, in this digital world, we need to make sure that our girls, our children are equipped to be able to compete with their counterparts, to be able to excel and become something in future. And we cannot do that if the system of education is cracked. And so I'm calling on the government, non-governmental organizations, international partners to please look into this case and make sure that these girls are found and that this thing will not happen again.
Lagos State in the early hours on Monday experienced a generally clear to partly cloudy and humid condition instead of a heavy hazy weather condition due to a light Harmattan weather. This followed the prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency of dust, haze and cloudiness from Sunday to Tuesday across the country. Our correspondent Fatoki Kunle captured a partly cloudy weather condition earlier in the morning, and his report is presented from our studio.
Residents of Lagos had expected to celebrate the festive period with the Harmattan weather condition, but it did not come during the New Year celebrations. Unexpectedly, they woke up on Monday morning to a partly cloudy condition of Harmattan weather like it was experienced in Alausa area of Ikeja, the capital city of Lagos State, by 7 a.m., where Mitv News crew monitored the slight change in weather condition.
What I have to say is that this is one of the effects of climatic change in our society. That's what.
Why did it happen? Didn't occur last year during the festive period?
That is why I said it is one of the climatic changes, the effect of climatic changes in our society. So it could happen at any time. Okay, for instance, it's just for the 1st of January this year.
I told my colleagues now say this is my time, but I told you my time supposed to be on December or December. But now you are just seeing this morning, January 12th. I just see the time now, but well, it's okay.
However, for some residents of Lagos State, the cloudy and haze-like weather condition was far from being Harmattan in view of the absence of the cold, dry and hazy condition that some states have been experiencing since the early days of December 2025, which usually accompanied the festive period of Christmas and New Year.
Climate change, that's where I'm going. You see, as at December, do you expect rain in December?
No.
Do you expect rain in January?
No, January 1st.
You will observe that December, January is still raining. Before the end of the day now, it can still rain. Nobody can predict. So we are enjoying a very good weather here in Lagos. So I don't see this as a big deal. This is not just an Harmattan. If you see real Harmattan, you hardly see the road. You hardly see the road, but well, by and large, it is still Harmattan. But to me, it is still a peripheral. Just a child's play. When you see real Harmattan, you know this is Harmattan. But this one is just a child's play. Because I remember when I was in Ilorin, by now, my lips will have cracked. While I'm walking on the road, my skin will be paining me. I'll be feeling it.
Though there has been a weather prediction by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, of dust, haze and cloudiness from Sunday to Tuesday across the country, some residents believe it's nature at work.
That is God at work. So no one understands God. Whatever God decides to do, He do it at His own way. If it please God to allow the Harmattan to appear in the month of January, that is for Him. But I believe everything God does is for our own good.
Environmental scientists believe climate change is really at work, as the phenomenon has been at the forefront of changes in atmospheric weather conditions for some years now, and will continue to bring such effects in this world of industrial development.
So having it now, it's more like just a late arrival, later arrival of that Harmattan season, which is somewhat more like a seasonal shifting. So it's not, it's okay, it's here, and having a global climate change is not synonymous or localized to a particular location, Lagos State or whatever. So these are some of the changes that different zones may experience in different forms. The Harmattan is here, so I would just say for those who may probably be allergic to dust or some of the hazy weather issue, they should take precaution. And of course, I will also encourage for those people, it's something that will probably impact transportation, especially the aviation industry. So while driving on the street, let us all take the right precaution.
For now, NIMET forecast appears to be in play to some extent in Lagos, with moderate haze over the commercial nerve center of the country, which has long been expected towards the end of year 2025.
Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has paid a glowing tribute to Nigerian armed forces, describing the service as a sacred calling rooted in courage, discipline and sacrifice. Governor Sanwo-Olu gave the honor at the 2025 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Thanksgiving service held at the Chapel of Christ the Light at Lausa, Lagos, where he urged Nigerians to reflect on the unseen cost of peace and the responsibility of national unity. The governor, who was represented by the Secretary to the State Government SSG, Mrs. Bimbola Saluhuddin, noted that the freedom citizens enjoy daily are sustained by men and women who remain on constant guard. Sanwo-Olu thanked God for preserving the nation and commended soldiers, sailors, airmen and officers for operating in difficult and dangerous conditions to keep the country safe. He also remembered the fallen heroes who paid the ultimate price in the line of duty, invoking scripture to underscore their legacy.
These are heroes who gave up their lives so that all of us can be here today. We can sleep with our eyes closed. And a lot of them had left families behind. They have children. We want to tell them, Mr. Governor Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu would have me let them know that he can feel their pains. He can hear their secret cries. And that he knows that God Almighty, that sees in the secret, will definitely stand by them, reward them, console and comfort them at this time. So we Nigerians, Lagosians in particular, we're asking that security is not to be carried out in silos. It is a collaborative effort. We must all see something and say something. We must be willing to give information to the police. We must be willing to assist the military.
To help the security forces in terms of information, you see something, you say something. Security is a whole of society approach. It's not just the military. So we're soliciting for help from fellow Nigerians to assist the security forces as well.
Intervenes through systems. God intervenes in the affairs of men through the grace and the wisdom that he supplies us, especially our armed forces as they combat the enemy.
The Lagos State Task Force has dismantled a criminal syndicate that specialized in impersonating its officers to extort money from unsuspecting motorists. The three suspects, identified as 42-year-old Olatunji Adebayo, a 58-year-old Adewale Adeyemo, and 39-year-old Chinedu Justin, confessed that they impounded an average of 7 vehicles daily as part of their fraudulent operations. They were apprehended in the Jodubaga area after a motorist alerted the rail task force. In a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Affairs, Badeon Abdurrahim, the chairman of the agency, Adetayo Akerele, said the syndicate had been under surveillance following multiple public complaints. And on their modus operandi, one of the suspects, Adebayo, said that their target are usually vehicles conveying goods improperly loaded, whom they arrest and threaten with impoundment before they part with a bountiful sum of money. He stated that they target private cars mostly, and adding that when lucky, they impound 7 vehicles and charge them for driving against traffic, commonly called a one-way, and insecure loading, while occasionally interstate commercial motorists are arrested. Another suspect, Justin, recounted the moment of the capture, saying that on the day that they were arrested, he noticed his colleague attempted to run away after he had blocked a vehicle with his Korokbe bus. And no fewer than 15 communities in Abeokuta, the Ogun State capital, have expressed distress over an alleged demolition of their villages and acquisition of the land by the state government. The communities, which according to the villagers is over 300 years, was exercised by a former governor, Otumba Benga Daniel's administration, saying that the sudden development is disheartening despite the case still in court. Speaking with the newsmen on weekend, the Bale of Ogunro Chief Olakunle Botunde expressed the shock that the present administration is bent on taking the remaining part of the community for an estate development while rendering the members of community homeless. And also speaking, Chief Oludare Salako, the Bale of Itori Morgan, said the communities have different ancestral gods which, according to him, cannot be relocated, saying that forceful eviction could spell danger.
We see them, they came here to mark our houses here, and they said we should move away in our community, in our ancient village here. You can see all the mud house here, all the new building here. We are more than 100 people here, and they wanted to chase us away. They wanted to collect our land.
The governorship candidate of the All Progressive Congress in Osun State, Muniruddin Bola Oyebamiji, has urged the members of the party's youth wing to take advantage of the ongoing voters registration exercise and obtain their permanent voters card. He made the call during the meeting for the youth leaders of the party at the APC Secretariat in Osogbo. And Mitv correspondent Samuel Money completes the story.
Youth leaders of the All Progressives Congress from the 30 local government areas of Osun State gathered in Osogbo for what party officials described as the reconciliation meeting. According to the organizers, the meeting was convened to harmonize interest within the youth structure of the party following the conduct of the party's governorship primary election.
To have a reconciliation meeting within our youth structure, to plead for our entire youth of the party to mobilize heavily for the 2026 governorship election. We appeal to them to support our candidates, Alhaji Muniruddin Bola Oyebamiji, to succeed next August 8, 2026 general election.
The governorship candidate Muniruddin Bola Oyebamiji, alongside other party stakeholders, was on ground to listen to the concerns, yearnings and aspirations of the youth. After deliberations, Oyebamiji assured the youth leaders of inclusive governance and favorable consideration when the party returns to power in the state.
In Nigerian demographics, youth is the active element of society. And we have vibrant youth in APC. They've been working, they've been delivering, and we expect that this government is going to be youth-oriented government.
He also charged them to intensify mobilization efforts, promote the party across their respective areas, and ensure they obtain their permanent voter cards ahead of the election.
We want them to go again, go and mobilize, to go and collect their PVC, register, and they need to be captured so that August 8, 2026, they will have those instruments to fight and win the election for APC.
In their responses, the youth leaders expressed satisfaction with the engagement and assurance given by the party leadership, describing the meeting as timely and reassuring.
Our youth want is recognition, and our candidates have recognized them. They have recognized the structure of the party. I want to assure you that we believe that our youth will go back home and do all their assignment.
What I see here is that the reconciliation is well done, and we are using this medium to appeal to our youth to look for vote beyond the party for this coming election.
They noted that the reconciliation meeting forms part of a broader strategy to strengthen unity within the party ahead of the August 8th governorship election in Osun State. From Oshogbo, the Osun State capital, Jamiu Omaniyi, Mitv.
We'll now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you some more reports.
The Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS, reminds all businesses in Lagos State that the 2026 annual tax filing window is now open. All business entities are required to pay all taxes due and file returns on all pay-as-you-earn, payee, and withholding taxes deducted from payments made during the 2025 tax year on or before 31st January 2026 using the LIRS e-tax platform. To file, visit www.etax.lirs.net. Log in with your company taxpayer ID and password. Complete your payee returns and other required information, then submit. Failure to file annual tax returns within the prescribed timeline violates the provisions of the Nigeria Tax Administration Act 2025 and attracts statutory penalties. This message is from the Lagos State Internal Revenue Service, LIRS.
Welcome back. The General Overseer of Christ the Royal Family International Church and Chancellor of Monarch University, Yesi Ota, Ogun State, Bishop Tom Sampson, has reinforced the need for parents and guidance to provide their wards with sound and quality education as a guarantee for future progress. Bishop Sampson gave the admonition during the maiden matriculation ceremony of Monarch University, where he described education as one of the most powerful tools for societal development, noting that it shapes character, defines roles, and produces effective leadership. The educationist stated that Monarch University is positioned as a center for learning, development, and human capital formation. He added that the institution has introduced an installment-based payment system to enable students pursue their academic programs without undue financial stress. The Vice Chancellor of Monarch University, Professor Olugbemisola Mokola Omogun, has emphasized the importance of empowering Nigerian students with vocational and entrepreneurial skills to promote self-reliance, and said at the end of 4 years, the university aims to produce graduates who are not only morally sound and spiritually developed, but also equipped with strong entrepreneurial acumen. The Registrar of Monarch University, Michael Owakwe, said the mission of the institution is to produce knowledgeable and skilled graduates through functional education and value reorientation, enabling them to effectively harness the environment and contribute meaningfully to the development of Nigerian society and humanity at large.
Grace of God, we made it so simple that even parents pay instrumentally. They pay instrumentally, and we made our fee so avoidable. Remember, all the lecturers, both in private, in state, in government, they're almost collecting the same thing. They're going to the same market. No matter how much we see it, education is expensive. The lecturer buy from the same market. But as much as possible, because I'm a visionary man, we want to contribute to education. As much as possible, I invested so much on the university. Not just what comes in. That's where our contribution comes in. But we make sure it's so avoidable, and we made the payment system so easy for parents. So that's a good one. So by the grace of God, from this investment begin to impact the community. We believe God of more factories will come in. For example, here to start the university, we have printing press, we have water factory, we have bakery, we have more facilities here. And we're going to do more. We're going to go into agriculture, producing food, giving out employment, because we're looking at entrepreneurship. How our students can be self-employable. So we have so much to do. University is a vision, it's like running a nation, and we are set for it.
The fact that you have never struggled in life shows that somebody else is struggling for you up to your school start class. Now you are leaving secondary school, you are going to tertiary institution, to university, like you are here now, Emmanuel University. Nobody is going to do the struggling for you from here. Your parents would have been struggling for you when you are in primary, secondary school, but in the university, that's the final lap of the educational system in Nigeria. And that's where we coined the saying that the policy, national policy on education, is the 6-3-4. The first 3 is the primary education, the first 6, primary education. The first 3 is the junior secondary school education. The last 3 is the senior secondary education. And the last 4, 6-3-3-4, is the tertiary education. So you are just starting the last journey in your educational career.
We do not tolerate bullying. We do not tolerate fighting. In this university, our emphasis is on discipline. We want to be sure that our students, those who we bring up, are people who are very well disciplined, those who are well trained, those who are well academically empowered. Any student that is found to be a bully, any student that is found to be a fighter who is disposed to fighting or to making life uncomfortable to others, we will not tolerate. And that is our goal, that is our emphasis here.
I'm studying biz admin, and why I choose Monarch is they're not just it's a new school, but trust me, they're impacting and it's good academy with good environment. The core value is already shaping already. Just by that, by being spiritual and being diligent in my work, I'll become what I want to be.
A former Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, retired, has warned that the increasing deployment of the military for internal security duties across the country is weakening the capacity of the Nigerian police force and other civilian security agencies, and even as it provides a short-term stability. Currently, the military personnel are deployed nationwide, including in the Federal Capital Territory, in support of the internal security duties. Speaking while delivering the keynote address at the 2026 Armed Forces Celebration and Remembrance Days lecture in Abuja on Monday, Buratai said the military's widespread presence across Nigeria's 36 states is gradually eroding the growth and effectiveness of the police and internal intelligence institutions that should ordinarily lead internal security operations. Buratai said that noted the extensive deployment of the armed forces of Nigeria in internal security provides immediate stability, but it also perpetuates a cycle of dependency that weakens civil police capacity and strains defense resources. The National Association of Resident Doctors, NARD, says it will review issues surrounding the suspension of its proposed strike within 2 weeks. The president-elect, Dr. Emmanuel Idoko, made a statement in an interview in Calabar on Monday. It would be recalled that NARD declared an indefinite nationwide strike that began on November the 1st, 2025, following the alleged failure of the federal government to implement a 19-point pact with the association. The association, however, suspended the strike after 29 days following negotiations with the government and an agreement that addressed some of the demands. It would be further recalled that NARD later announced the new plans to resume another strike effective January the 12th over alleged non-fulfillment of agreement by the federal government. Idoko, former Cross River chairman of NARD, said that the decision to suspend the strike followed a meeting with Vice President Kashim Shettima. He said that Shettima appealed to the association to suspend further strikes and engage the federal government in further discussions. The NAD official said that poor remuneration and weak health policies had led to the relocation of many medical doctors from the country. And tomorrow marks a milestone for one of Nigeria's most accomplished political figures, as the former First Lady of Lagos State and distinguished Senator Fatimat Olufunke Raji-Rasaki officially joins the club of the septuagenarians in grand and colorful style. Born some 70 years ago in Ekiti State, the Senator Raji-Rasaki is a legal practitioner and a veteran of the Nigerian legislature. Her journey in public service is marked by her tenure in the House of Representatives 2007 to 2011, representing the Ado-Ekiti Ifelodun Federal Constituency, and her subsequent election to the 8th National Assembly 2015 to 2019 as a senator for the Ekiti Central Senatorial District. During her time in the Red Chamber, she served with distinction as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism. A woman of immense influence, she rose to the national prominence as the wife of retired Brigadier General Raji-Rasaki, the former military governor of Ogun and Lagos State. Her poise and dedication were evident during her years as First Lady of Ogun State in the year 1986 to 1987 and Lagos State 1988 to 1991. To celebrate this landmark 70th birthday, the chairman, management and staff of Moro International Group have extended their heartfelt felicitations. And according to the management, we say congratulations to an accomplished Nigerian senator and former First Lady, Senator Fatimat Olufunke Raji-Rasaki, as you mark your 70th birthday in grand style. We celebrate your legacy of service and leadership. And as she enters her 70th decade, Senator Raji-Rasaki remains a formidable and respected political voice within the Ekiti Central Senatorial District and across the Federation. And that's it on the local news. We now take a short break. When we'll come back, we'll give you some stories in the foreign scene.
This is AFCON, my friend. Everything is a competition. Everything.
Enjoy AFCON Morocco 2025 from 21st December to 18th January on SuperSport. Join the family today. Get DSTV for a new lower price of 7,900 Naira.
Ramadan, the only month of blessings and forgiveness, is here again. This is an opportunity for corporate bodies to grow their brands and individuals to enjoy unending blessing from Allah by way of sponsoring any of our ARI programs, specially packaged for this Ramadan period. You can sponsor our call to prayer, Ramadan Tafsir, Taraweeh live from Holy Kaaba, Makkah and Medina, Iftar Family Quiz Show, Dawn Transmission from 3 to 7 a.m. and lots more at affordable cost. For information on how you can be part of this program, contact our marketing department for details or call any of the following lines: 0803-300-4531 or 0803-515-8756 or 0802-928-0721. Ramadan Mubarak.
Welcome back in the foreign scene. The Sudanese army is renewing efforts for an operation to retake the Kordofan and Darfur regions from the control of the paramilitary Rapid Support Forces RSF as the civil war rages deep into its third year. The army has been assessing the RSF's capability and resources in readiness for the launching of the military operation, with a large number of military formations fully prepared to launch an attack. And then a full-scale operation to liberate Kordofan in central Sudan and Darfur in the west would surpass the Sudanese armed forces' recapture of the capital, Khartoum, in March, in terms of the planning that has taken place before the mission. United States President Donald Trump has said that Washington is considering a strong option in response to the Iran's crackdown on anti-government protests, including possible military intervention. And Trump told reporters on board Air Force One that he plans to speak with billionaire Elon Musk about restoring the internet in Iran. He was scheduled to meet with a senior advisor on Tuesday to discuss options for Iran, including the military strikes, using secret cyber weapons, widening sanctions, and providing online help to anti-government sources. This came as Iran's Foreign Minister Araki says the U.S. President Donald Trump's warning against the terrain of military action should protests turn bloody motivated terrorists to target protesters and security forces in order to invite foreign interventions. The protests in Iran began on December 28 when merchants and Tehran's grand bazars closed the shops over the Iranians' rouse plummeting value. The demonstration quickly spread nationwide, with grievances evolving from concerns over soaring living costs to a broader opposition against Iran's clerical establishment, who have governed the country since the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Meanwhile, Iran said on Monday that it is prepared for a war after the U.S. President Donald Trump threatened a military intervention over a crackdown on protest that activists say that has killed at least 544 people. Foreign Minister Abbas told a conference of foreign ambassadors in Tehran, broadcast by state television, that the Islamic Republic of Iran is not seeking war but is fully prepared for war. Over 2 weeks of protests, initially sparked by economic grievances, have turned into one of the biggest challenges yet to the theocratic system that has ruled Iran since the 1979 Islamic revolutions. And the United States President Donald Trump says that no more Venezuelan oil money will go to Cuba, and he has suggested that the communist-run island should strike a deal with Washington, ramping up pressure on the longtime U.S. nemesis. Venezuela is Cuba's biggest oil supplier, but not cargo has departed from Venezuela ports to the Caribbean country since the U.S. forces abducted the Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro on January the 3rd, amid a strict U.S. oil blockade on the OPEC country. And according to the latest shipping data, Trump did not elaborate on his suggested deal, but a U.S. official have hardened their rhetoric against Cuba in recent weeks. And in the bitter cold of Gaza winter, 2 months old Mohammed Abdul Habib has become the latest victim of Israel's genocidal war that has stripped Palestinians of shelter, warmth, and survival. The Director of Health Information at the Ministry of Health, Azar al-Wahidi, said the infant died from severe hypothermia at Al-Rantisi Children's Hospital. His death brings the number of children who have frozen to death in the enclave since November 2025 to 4 and 12 since the start of the genocidal war in October 2023. As a severe depression brings the torrential rain and freezing winds to the coastal enclave, 1,000 of displaced families are facing a catastrophic humanitarian emergency, with the most vulnerable paying the highest price. And we now take a short break. When we come back, we'll give you some stories in sport. The Confederation of African Footballers has launched an investigation into alleged misconduct by players and officials during the CAF African Cup of Nations 2025 quarterfinal clashes between Cameroon and Morocco, as well as Algeria and Nigeria. The probe follows the reports of confrontations with referees and disruptions in the post-match areas. In a statement posted on CAF's official website on Monday, the Continental Football Governing Body said it has collected match reports and video evidence suggesting potentially unaccepted behavior and has referred the matters of the disciplinary board for further review. In the quarter-final fixture over the weekend, Nigeria secured a 2-0 victory over Algeria in Marrakech, but the match ended in a chaos as Algerian players confronted the match officials on the pitch, leading to scuffles and unattempted pitch invasion by fans that was thwarted by stadium security. And Manchester United are tipped to name Michael Carrick as the club's new interim manager by Wednesday, and having spent recent days weighing up to a point to lead their team until the end of the season to wake of Ruben Amorim's sacking. The fellow ex-player Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Darren Fletcher were also under consideration, but now seem to have missed out, and reports on Monday said that a deal that will see Carrick return to Old Trafford just over 4 years after a 3-game spell as a caretaker in late 2021 is almost done. There is also a 48-hour time frame to the announcement from United, and which could potentially and ideally see Carrick leading training for the first time on Wednesday, when the players return from a 2-day holiday in the wake of losing to Brighton in the FA Cup. It is thought that final details are still to be ironed out, with talks moving on to who will make up for the former United captain's backroom coaching team. Fabrizio Romano said that Carrick has accepted all conditions of the proposed contract. And talking tennis, all the number one on Arena's Sabalenka brushed aside Marta Kustyuk 6-4, 6-3 in the Brisbane International Final on Sunday to retain the title without losing a set ahead of her bid to reclaim the Australian Open title this month. And Kustyuk had beaten top 10 players Jessica Pegula, Mila Andreeva and Amanda Anisimova on her way to the final, but was no match for the sheer power of the US Open champion. Sabalenka is determined to win back the Australian Open title she relinquished last year, and her performance in the fierce Brisbane heat suggests that she will be hard to beat at the Melbourne Park this month. And meanwhile, the 3-time Australian opener runner-up Daniil Medvedev will be an underdog at the opening Grand Slam of the year, but the Russian warned that he will be hard to beat in his current form. And Medvedev should move up a place to number 12 in the rankings, and after warming up for another crack at the Melbourne Park title by winning the Brisbane International. It was his second tournament victory in 3 months after his first title in 2 years came at the Caxton in October. The Sacramento Kings ended their 7-game losing streak for their first win to reach 26,000 career points after a 14-foot fadeaway jumper with 7:09 remaining in the second quarter. The DeRozan ended the game with a team-high 22 points while shooting 8 of 13 from the field. Sacramento received a contribution from everywhere, and Carter Clavin finished with 18 points. Russell Westbrook added 15 points, 6 rebounds, and 10 assists in the win. And the Denver Nuggets gritted out a great win against the Milwaukee Bucks 108-104, outscoring the Bucks in 3 of the 4 quarters, and managed to outbound the Bucks despite missing both of the centers Nikola Jokic and Jonas Valanciunas. Guiding the Giants for almost the entire game and essentially played a point guard